Hi everybody, it's Erin at Yippee and a lot of people have been asking me what is an Omni Journal. So I'm going to give you a brief description of what it is and talk about some different types of journals that you might use if you're interested in doing it. So this is my Omni Journal. Basically, Omni Journal is just any type of journal that uses multiple elements. For example, a planner and a sketchbook, or a journal, a memory journal, plus washi tape and stickers, a bullet journal that you also add mementos or ticket stubs. Anything that you've combined multiple elements into one journal. It's basically just a catch-all term for an everything journal, which is literally what Omni means. So I'll give you a little quick peek at mine. This book is just a little cheapy sketchbook I got at Michael's, so it was about $5. It's the one I'm using for now. I'm going to use a different one for March, but this is the February one. I have a pen quiver here, which is you can get online. I'll try and post a link. I think I got it from Amazon. It's got elastic, so it will fit. They have a couple different sizes, but this is the typical A5 size that a lot of people use. So it fits over there very snugly, so I can stuff this in my purse and carry it around. I don't have to worry about my pens getting stuck on anything or going anywhere. Inside I keep some post-it notes stuck to the inside cover, things I need to do and remember, and also I use them in here periodically. From the bullet journal concept, I did use an index at the beginning of mine so I can find where things are. Then I have drawn out my calendar for February, which I find to be pretty helpful. Basically, the reason I started an Omni Journal was because I had several pieces of information that I needed to put together. I keep a food log, a separate food log with all my supplements listed, and then I also had a calendar in the kitchen, and I also had my Filofax with all names and addresses, and I also have a lot of sketchbooks because I'm an artist. So this was a way to combine all of those into one book. So now I'll show you a daily spread. This is how I have my daily spreads. Basically, I have one day per page. I keep my food log on the right, so I can keep track of what I'm eating, my supplements just below that, and my water consumption. I also track my weight and my pH, which I also keep on a separate tracker. pH and weight, so I can see what's happening over the month, and if there are any trends or spikes, I can try and figure out why. To-do list on the left, what the weather's doing, little notes to myself. That was my first Instagram. That was a big day. And then a time schedule. So if I have an appointment or something, it will go here. So this has been working out pretty well. I add little pieces of washi tape and little pictures and things. But I wasn't really loving how this looked, so I did some research online and posted some great stuff on my Pinterest page that I found. But what I have done now is I've gone a little bit more in this direction. So here's today's spread. I like it to look a little more vintagey, and I'm adding more stamps and stickers that sort of give it a vintagey feel. I'm doing my journaling just the same. I'm keeping track of my water. It's just not all separated into little separate areas. I'm kind of doing it so that it has a more pleasing overall look, which I like much better. So, and here's the next day, which I've just started, so you can see what's going on here. And then I also have tried other trackers. I'm not really keeping up with it, I find. Some I do, some I don't. I'm going to revamp that a little bit for March. In the back, of course, is pen testing, which I'm going to be doing more of, and I will fill you in, for example, which pens are waterproof and which pens are not. And the erasable pens, and also, of course, the ghosting tests, which ghosting, or bleeding, is when you can see some images from one side to the other of a page. Now this paper is kind of cheap sketchbook paper, but it actually is pretty good it doesn't ghost very badly, and I'll show you in a second some other journals that have a little bit worse problem with the ghosting. And then in the very back I just glued a little envelope. I keep stamps in there, and I keep my extra sticky notes here so I reuse them. And then I also of course do sketching in here, so that is supposed to be doing my sketch a day, but well, there's one. It just depends on how much time I have that day. So that's the quick overview of mine. Yours can be anything you want it to be. It's open to interpretation. It's whatever you like. You can put in there anything that makes you happy. Do not feel obligated to do trackers or to-do lists or anything that is not making you happy. It's totally open to interpretation. So let me show you a couple of other types of journals that you can pick from. This is a moleskin. It's very popular. I love this houndstooth cover. I've had this one for quite a long time. It has lovely paper to write on. I will warn you, however, you can see here, it does ghost quite a lot. So you can see this marker is, I used the same marker in all of the journals. It's the Zig Clean Color Real Brush. You can see here that did ghost quite a lot. So these papers are quite thin. These would not be suitable if you are going to be doing light watercolor washes or a lot of pen work with markers. It's more suitable for pencil and certain types of pens that aren't as bad about ghosting. This is the Rhodia. This is one of my favorites of all the journals. It's got a lovely leather cover, which feels scrumptious. It's got a nice pocket in the back for storing goodies. It's got, it comes with either blank paper, lined paper, or you can see here dots. I like the dots. This is the one I'm going to be using next. And here is the ghosting test. So here's the same pen was right here. And you can see, you can read it a little bit through. It's not bad. I don't think that would bother me, but again, this paper does not really take a wash, and I did some liquid acrylic ink here, and the paper gets very crinkly. Now, I actually like crinkly paper. I like the sound. I like writing on it, but it might not be for everybody, so just a warning there. This paper is not meant to handle washes. This one is the Luchterm. This is a very popular journal with the bullet journal folks. It is lovely paper, similar to the paper in the Rhodia. You can also get blank, lined, or dots. These are dots. So similar in many ways. Here's our ghosting test, so I'll give you a little peek. So not great, not terrible, not as bad as the moleskin, but not great. To me, I'd like to see this paper a little bit thicker. For what you're paying for this lovely book, I'd like to see the paper a little bit heavier, 90 grams or heavier. Here is a Peter Popper press. I got this on a recommendation from one of the people on the bullet journal page. I don't think as yet they're doing dots. I could be wrong about that. I'm going to check. This is lined, but the lines are very pale. You don't have to worry about them overpowering. If you want to do sketching and things like that, they're not going to show up at all. They just will help you for handwriting. The thing I like the best about this, wait till you see how it did in the ghosting test. So here's our test. Oh, well, I should not have written on the other side. But it did not ghost at all. And I have a photo comparison of all the ones that I did. And this one won the challenge. So it has very heavy, good, thick paper. It can handle a light wash. I'm going to do that as a video at some point. I don't think I've done any washes here yet. Nope, just handwriting practice so far. But anyway, you can hear how lovely and thick that paper is. So I definitely can recommend this one. Hopefully they'll have dots out pretty soon. Now, those are the popular journals. There are all kinds of other journals out there. So here's a little sample. I have about 8 million journals. Can you tell I'm a little obsessed? This is one I found the other day at, I think it was Michael's. It's called the Delusions Creative Journal. Very interesting journal. First of all, this is genius. Inside the cover, which is very tough, thick cardboard, they leave a nice little space for your pen, which I think is genius. So, for those of you who like to travel with your pen with you, look at that. Beautiful. I love it. Clearly designed by a woman. No, I'm just kidding. Don't send me hate mail. Here's the thing I like about this journal. It has cream-colored pages, but they are extremely thick. It's cardstock. So this stuff is going to be able to handle markers, light washes, maybe even heavier washes, whatever you throw at it. I did some washes right here. The paper did not buckle. You can't see any sign of it back here. So it absolutely would be the way to go if you are going to sort of beat up your pages and really put them through their paces. The only thing that did ghost through is a Sharpie. And a Sharpie will ghost through pretty much anything. So that did not surprise me. But as far as the rest of it, this paper did not ghost at all. It's very thick. Here's the only downside. It doesn't have as many pages as the other journals. That may or may not be a problem. And also, when you're at the front of the journal, you can lay the pages out flat. But when you get to the back of the journal, I noticed it doesn't open all the way. So just keep that in mind. If you're somebody who likes to open it up completely flat, this one won't open from about the last quarter of the journal because of the way it's glued to the cover. But everything else does lie flat and open, so you can get some really nice sketches or spreads going across both pages. It also has this super cool envelope in the front that you can put all your stickers and goodies in, and they've left this nice and plain so you can decorate it, put stickers on it, whatever you like. So I really, overall, I like this one a lot. Just going through quickly some of these other ones. This is a tiny little paper blank. I just thought it was adorable. So here it is. That was sort of my pre-Omni Journal little daily to-do list with the date and a little sketch. I used to keep it in my pocket and walk around with it, and I just think it's adorable. So there it is. These are some little paperback journals that I got at a dollar store. They're lined. I'm not a huge fan of lined journals, but they would certainly be great for slipping in your pocket. They're very light and slim, or a travel journal if you just wanted to keep notes. They'd be great for that. I think those together were $1. This is one of my sketchbooks. I'm just going to show you, because sketchbooks make fabulous Omni journals, because a lot of times you're getting upgraded paper. This is very nice, thick, almost cardstock. It will handle a light wash. It will handle sketches beautifully. Here are some of my sketches from a recent concert I went to. It's wonderful for pen. It can handle a light wash, which I don't know if I can show you. Yeah, there's a light wash. All right, so I'm trying to find the name of this journal so I can tell you what it is. And I'm going to have to get back to you on that. But anyway, it's a watercolor sketchbook that I picked up at an art store. And I will find out the name and post it under here. So I love that one. I have about 8 million sketchbooks. I'm not going to give you the full tour. Here's another little sketchbook. I often keep the writing implement attached to the elastic so that I know which writing implement I like the best for the paper. So that one was pencil. This is an adorable little idea. There used to be people doing these on Etsy, but they are not doing them anymore. But basically, it's a vintage postcard that has been made into a little blank book, and I thought that was charming. It's stitched together with a piece of waxed thread, and then a little button is attached to the front so you can close it up. I just thought those were darling, and hopefully the people will start making them again because they make wonderful little gifts. Very charming. Here's another journal. This is just a cheapie, but I like it because of the brown paper. It's kind of brown and scratchy, and for some reason I just really love writing on it with a black pen especially. So my Micron pen is in here. And this is, I don't know who makes this one. It's sort of just a cheapy little paperback. I can't remember where I found it. I'm going to have to find out. All this writing is in another language that I do not know. But the point of this was, it doesn't have to be white paper. You can journal on brown paper, which is also fun because then you can get out your white pens. This is another just sort of cheapy sketchbook from Michaels. Very thick paper. This is watercolor paper. So here we've got watercolors. I've sprayed a fair amount of water on there. I've used all kinds of pens, done washes. This holds up very nicely. So if you're going to do more watercoloring, and here's a little sketch I did with ink, and then I just took a wet paintbrush and let the ink bleed out. So this journal is perfect for this type of sketching. So that came from Michaels. I put the sticker on there myself. I often do that when the front and back cover look the same, so I know which way is up. This is another one, lovely one I got, that is by Handbook. They make some really nice sketchbooks. Here's all my pen testing. Another one with brown paper, which I love, because you can use your white for little details. It's not particularly fancy paper. It's very cheap, but it's a great journal for sketching. So sometimes when I'm going to do a painting, I'll do a sketch in here first to lay it out. And starting off with a bounding box, which I spoke about in one of my other YouTube videos, the one about making straight lines. But I often start off with a bounding box like this and then just do the quick sketch. This one is dyed with coffee beans, which is why it's called Kona Classic. This one is super interesting. I always pick up these interesting books and journals if I find them, and I can't remember where I got this, but oh, Barnes & Noble. There you go. Punctuate, it's called. It's a handmade journal with handmade paper. I don't know if you can see. This paper is lovely. It's got all sorts of little bits and things in there. It's very thick. It's very soft. Here's my pen and pencil testing. It comes with this really cool handmade page finder with a little wooden doohickey at the end. And the cover is hand woven, also out of natural fibers. It is a very cool journal, and I have not figured out exactly what I'm going to use it for. But very unique, unusual. Be great for photos and mementos. This is a little tiny moleskin that I keep in my pocket to take notes. This is another little journal I found at a bookstore. It's by Caspari. Here's the pen test. It works great for pen sketches. There's a sketch I did a while back. That actually was with a marker, and it didn't even bleed through very much, so I'm kind of happy about that. I do random sketches in random places because a friend of mine taught me, if you're a little bit nervous about starting a new journal, flip open to any random page and do a sketch. It takes the pressure off starting at the beginning, which sometimes is just too much pressure. You know what I'm talking about. So flip open to a random page and do a sketch, and then you'll feel much better about diving in. And then I just have to finish with this adorable little thing here. I found on Etsy, somebody is making these adorable, tiny, handmade, tiny books. And it's got blank pages. And I thought this would be adorable to write little messages in and give to your loved one, or write little messages in for your kid and put it in their lunch. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I just thought it was so adorable, and it's got a little map. Each one is unique because she's making them by hand, and they come in all different sizes. This one I just found incredibly charming because it was so tiny. So that's it. A pretty decent overview. Trust me, I have more journals, but I don't want to take up too much time. So that's an overview of the different types of journals. Whatever you like to use, that's the one you should use. I will be posting more videos coming soon, so stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining me.